A man and a juvenile in Belvidere face weapons charges after they were arrested following a shooting in late March. 22-year-old Mauricio Carrion and a 17-year-old juvenile were taken into custody March 26th after police responded just before 10:30 in the evening to the 400 block of Van Buren Street for reports of shots fired. Officials say one person was hospitalized from the shooting with non-life-threatening injuries. There is a third suspect wanted in connection with the case, 18-year-old Salvador Cano Gutierrez. Anyone with information about their whereabouts are encouraged to contact the Belvidere Police Department.